On February 28, 2026, the Middle East changed forever. In a massive, coordinated strike known as Operation Epic Fury, the United States and Israel launched over 1,200 munitions into the heart of Iran. The target wasn't just nuclear sites, it was the regime itself. Reports now confirm that strikes on the Jamhuri district of Tehran have resulted in the death of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Today, we break down exactly how this attack happened, what President Trump has said to the Iranian people, and what this means for the future of the region. Join us as we explore the massive military coordination, the specific targets destroyed, and the ultimate goal of this historic operation. The operation began with a military concept called time on target. This is a mathematical strategy designed to overwhelm an enemy's defenses by making sure every single missile and bomb hits at the exact same second. It is the ultimate form of systemic shock. If you hit one radar site, the others go on alert. But if you hit every radar site, every command center, and every missile silo simultaneously, the entire national defense network collapses before it can even send an SOS. To pull this off, the U.S. and Israel had to coordinate forces from completely different parts of the world. Submarines in the Red Sea, two massive aircraft carriers, the USS Abraham Lincoln and the USS Gerald R. Ford, and B-2 stealth bombers flying 30-hour missions from the American heartland were all synchronized with Israeli F-35 fighter jets. The goal was to blind Iran's sophisticated defense systems, specifically their Russian-made S-300 and S-400 batteries. To do this, the coalition fired hundreds of mauled decoys. These are small, miniature air-launched decoys that trick enemy radar into thinking they are seeing a massive swarm of incoming fighter jets. While Iranian operators were frantically trying to lock onto these ghosts, the real F-35 and F-22 stealth fighters were already deep inside Iranian airspace, completely undetected. In his address to the nation, President Trump explained that this overwhelming force was the only option left. He provided a grim history lesson, stating that for 47 years, the Iranian regime has waged an unending campaign of bloodshed. He reminded the world of the very first acts of the regime, the 444-day hostage crisis at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, and the 1983 Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American personnel. The president went further, linking the regime to the attack on the USS Cole in 2000 and the thousands of IEDs, or roadside bombs, that killed and maimed American service members in Iraq. He framed the Iranian leadership as a group that simply wanted to practice evil, rejecting every opportunity to make a deal or renounce their nuclear ambitions. He specifically referenced Operation Midnight Hammer from the previous June, where the U.S. had already struck nuclear sites at Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. According to the president, the regime was warned never to resume their pursuit of weapons of mass destruction, yet they chose to rebuild and develop long-range missiles. He stated clearly that it has always been the policy of his administration that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. The attack itself was not a single chaotic event. It was a carefully choreographed sequence broken down into 3 distinct waves, designed to dismantle the Iranian state piece by piece. The first wave focused entirely on suppression of enemy air defenses, or SEAD. U.S. Navy destroyers, such as the USS Thomas Hudner, launched dozens of Tomahawk cruise missiles. These missiles flew below the radar, hugging the Iranian terrain to destroy surface-to-air missile batteries and air defense headquarters in Tehran, Elam, and Khuzestan. By taking out these eyes first, the coalition effectively stripped Iran of its ability to see or defend its own sky. With the air defenses fractured, the second wave began. B-2 Spirit stealth bombers penetrated deep into the country to destroy heavily fortified nuclear bunkers in Isfahan. Simultaneously, F-15E Strike Eagles were deployed to hunt down mobile ballistic missile launchers hiding in the valleys, neutralizing Iran's ability to launch a massive long-range counterattack against U.S. allies in Europe. The final wave focused on the military manufacturing layer. USF/A 18 Super Hornets and F-35Cs launched from the carriers to mop up surviving radar operators and target military manufacturing hubs in Karaj and Tabriz. But the most critical moment came with a specific high-value strike on the Jamuri district in Tehran. Israeli aircraft dropped precision munitions directly on the compound of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, effectively ending his 37-year rule. In the immediate aftermath of the strikes, the surviving elements of the Iranian military launched a counteroffensive they called Operation Truthful Promise 4. This was not just another symbolic exchange. This time, the target list expanded to the entire region. Breaking from past conflicts, Iran aggressively targeted U.S. and allied bases across the Persian Gulf, knowing these locations were closer and less defended than the Israeli mainland. Ballistic missiles and drones were fired at the United States Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain, the nerve center for all naval operations in the Middle East. Reports also confirmed a strike on the Al Dhafra air base in the United Arab Emirates, resulting in 1 casualty from shrapnel. This marks a dangerous escalation, as missile interceptions were reported lighting up the skies over Qatar, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia. The conflict was no longer contained within Iran's borders. It had dragged the world's most critical energy corridor into a state of total war. This retaliation aligns with the warnings President Trump addressed in his speech. He acknowledged that the lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, but he framed these casualties as the cost of a noble mission to ensure that the children of the future would never be threatened by a nuclear-armed dictatorship. Perhaps the most striking part of the operation wasn't the bombs, but the psychological warfare that followed. In a move designed to bypass the regime and speak directly to the people of Iran, President Trump issued a stark, binary ultimatum. Addressing the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and the Iranian police directly, the president offered them a choice. You must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or in the alternative, face certain death. By offering total immunity, the U.S. is attempting to induce mass defections at the exact moment the command structure is in chaos from the death of the supreme leader. But his message to the Iranian civilians was even more direct. Calling them a great proud people, Trump declared that the hour of your freedom is at hand. He urged them to stay sheltered, warning that bombs will be dropping everywhere, but gave a clear directive for the aftermath. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. The decapitation of the Iranian leadership has created a historic power vacuum that the world is only beginning to comprehend. For nearly 5 decades, the Iranian regime was the primary architect of the axis of resistance, funding and training proxies from Lebanon and Yemen to Syria and Iraq. With the supreme leader gone and the military manufacturing centers in Tabriz and Karaj in ruins, these proxies, including Hamas and Hezbollah, are now effectively cut off from their primary source of support. The financial and military infrastructure that fueled the October 7th attacks has been severely compromised in a single night. However, the international community remains deeply divided. While allies in Europe and the Gulf are relieved by the dismantling of the nuclear threat, there are massive concerns regarding what fills the void. History warns us that power vacuums are rarely peaceful. Will a new democratic government emerge from the ruins, or will the remnants of the IRGC fight a bloody civil war to maintain their grip on power? President Trump is betting everything that the people of Iran will seize this moment to reclaim their nation. He has made it clear that this is likely a once-in-a-generation opportunity for the Iranian people to change their destiny. But as the smoke clears over Tehran, the real work is just beginning. The geopolitical landscape has been permanently altered, and the unending campaign of bloodshed has reached a violent turning point. What do you think? Was this massive strike the only way to stop the regime's nuclear ambitions, or has it simply opened the door to more chaos? Let me know your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more updates on this developing story.